All right, everybody, welcome to the Bettor In-Laws podcast. It is the, second week of December, otherwise known as the time of year where people don't know how the fuck to travel in snow anymore.
Yeah, it snowed today.
Yeah, I know that, Matthew.
You were traveling.
Yeah,
weren't you?
It was only like 2 inches on the South Shore, and took me 45 minutes to get to Braintree.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, from
cool.
from Marsh, Vegas. And then grand total of about an hour, 15, hour 20 this morning.
Woof.
Just nobody knows how to drive in 2 inches of snow anymore. It's like we live in Atlanta or something, and it randomly snowed there.
Atlanta, hey, they don't know how to drive at all.
Well,
in the snow,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
That's what it was like. Nobody had any fucking idea how to drive in the snow today. Awful. And now I'm going to sit at home or sit in my car on the way home from Boston. And, it's not going to be snowing, but there's going to be absolute gridlock on the expressway for another 40 fucking minutes.
But the good news is...
Jesus.
There's good news here. I like that color peach on you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You had the salmon last week, so I had to, lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, I went dark this I'm going dark this week.
And then I'm street parking, by the way.
Yeah.
Given it's a domino effect, but now there's spaces in between people, and I couldn't fit into a parking spot, and... You're losing spaces by your parking methods out there, people. I hate all of you.
Yep.
Good God, am I fired up today?
Yeah,
Jesus.
I hate that. That's why I just go parking a lot route. I know it's more expensive.
Oh,
but
I got the space in there, but
there you go.
I'm teetering on a tow job.
That's all right.
Let it be known.
Yeah.
I might very well be going to the tow lot after
all
this.
right, well, we'll find that out.
We'll see. But the sign says 2 different things. Whatever. Week 14 of the NFL season is upon us, and the product keeps getting worse by the week from what we're watching.
Not this product, though.
Not this product.
No, we're just absolutely killing it. And I love that for us.
Yeah, we are definitely killing it. Our percentages are well above 50%.
Yep.
Why don't you just run through quickly what we did last week, Matt?
Well, first of all, Tuck, if you do get towed, the good news is you got plenty of money to pay it off after your 4-in-1 week. And best bet winner with the Chargers in Pats under, my God, a rock fight in that game, huh?
I don't understand that total. 40.5. I was like, are you high?
Yeah, that's just too much, especially the weather playing a huge factor. But, at least for the Chargers.
Hey, if that was a sunny degree day, it would have been 9-0.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
But did I just say sunny degree?
Sunny degree, yeah. Well,
time of year, man.
Time of year.
I'm fucked up in the head.
You wake up, it's dark. You drive home, it's dark.
A sunny 55-degree day is what I meant to say. That game would have been 9-0.
Yeah, it was terrible. So nice play there with the under. You had the Lions -4. That hung on for dear life, but you know what? We hang on for dear life. Yeah. We'll take that win.
Up 21-0 at the half.
Yep. Steelers -5.5. That was the loss for you. Arizona just outright boat racing them through 2 weather delays.
That was
insane.
That was one of Tomlin's worst losses.
Yeah, it was bad
in his career.
Yeah,
honestly,
he was awful.
That was an embarrassment. What happened? And I know that they had the Kenny Pickett injury and everything like that, but from the shoot, they didn't look dialed in.
Yeah, and Kenny Pickett sucks. Right. So on top of it, I mean, is what it is. Atlanta Jets under 34 never came close like that for you, and the Niners -2.5. Well, that was a thing of beauty for me. Also was my best bet. So you went 4-1 last week. Hit your best bet. So on the season, 38, 26, and 1. Tuck 4-9 on best bets, but going to keep turning that around. So let's keep that hot there for me.
What's the overall percentage for me?
Oh, geez. Let me just do a quick
if you don't have it, don't worry about it. We're not doing fucking math.
You were teetering on...
It's at 58%, something like that? 59?
Yeah, you were teetering on... You know what? Next, after the recap, I'll come back and give you a percentage.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Recap for me last week, I was 1-1. And let me tell you, my loss and push, I was very upset about. I'll get to that. Niners -2.5, best bet, winner. Never in doubt. Beautiful game. Loved it.
There was a smidgen of doubt.
So we expected that. We expected that.
Yeah.
That the Eagles would come out, play a little fired up, too. Like, we expected that.
Yeah, they shut out the Niners on the first, 2 drives, and I was like, ugh.
The first quarter.
Yeah.
The Niners had negative yards.
Right.
And they still put up 42 on Philly.
Yeah, I
knew.
And
they ran the clock out in the fourth
We
quarter.
talked about it last week. I said that very well could be a double-digit win by the Niners, and oh, boy, was it.
Sure was.
And just real quick, when they were down by 1 point there, they were I hit them again at plus 1.5.
Yeah, I played the money line when they were down 6-0. At it was just like a small play. It was like plus 140, so nothing great. But I'll take it. Hey, plus money, you take that. So Niners win, best bet winner there. Chargers -6. I gave out. That was a push. Frustrating. The line closed closer to 5 because of the weather.
5.5.
Right? 5.5.
Yeah,
it did see 5 in some spots, so I pushed. But hopefully, for those who listened, you got a better number than I and won. The Titans. That was my loss. Tuck. I expect to lose games when I gamble. It's just part of it. If you don't, you shouldn't gamble. But this game, I don't remember being this frustrated. Indianapolis blocks 2 punts inside the 10-yard line. And Tennessee gives up 1 touchdown, but held to a field goal on another. The punter breaks his leg. So Tennessee goes down. They score a touchdown to take the lead with 5 minutes left. Oh, no, they don't take the lead because Ryan Tannehill has to be the holder, and it's a Ray Finkel situation, and Folk pulls the extra point. So we go to overtime where Tennessee takes the lead and still friggin' loses. God almighty, that was frustrating.
It's a bad play.
They were the right side. They were the right side all day. It was just frustrating. So lost there. Texans -3.5. Winner there. Hung on. Green Bay +6. Outright winner. That was shockingly easy.
So between the two of us, we went 7-2-1 for Week 13.
Yeah, beautiful. 36-28-1 in the season. 11-2 now on best bets.
Well, there you go. Well, the best bet streak continues, Matt, and I'm very much looking forward to your best bet coming up at the tail end of the episode. If you're a first-time listener, viewer of the podcast, thank you. But we go through our 4 likes, 5 likes total, one of them being a best bet. We'll start off with 4 likes, go through the rest of the slate, and then we'll wrap up the podcast with our best bet. And Matt, once again, is 11-2 on the season. Red hot in terms of best bets there. So, all right, let's get right into it. Week 14. We got a couple more banged-up quarterbacks in the NFL, and the product continues to go downhill, but nonetheless, here we are. You want to kick it off for me? I'll go.
Yeah, you can go.
All right, so I'm going to stick with my theme of garbage product on the field, and I'm looking at the Jacksonville-Cleveland game here. Give me the under 30.5. Now, you might be saying, hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
30.5?
Very low.
That's incredibly low. You have the balls to go under? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. This screams to me similar to what the Patriots did last week with the Chargers in terms of there's going to be very gross football, low-scoring game. This does look like it is going to be a messy, messy day in Cleveland. 46 degrees, rain. It's just a puke quarterback versus a puke quarterback. You have Joe Flacco, who actually didn't look terrible in L.A. He will be taking on C.J. Beathard of the Jacksonville Jaguars due to the Trevor Lawrence injury. Jaguars also just lost their major security blanket in Christian Kirk, and they'll be throwing out the likes of Parker Washington at wideout in addition to Calvin Ridley. I don't know what Amari Cooper's status is for the Browns. He did leave last week with a concussion. So with the quarterback situation, the iffy weapons and injuries going on here, this could very well just be a field goal game here. Or it's just going to be a grind the run sort of game, grind out the clock, under 30.5 for me. Oh, and by the way, the Browns, they're allowing something like 10.2 points on average home this year. They absolutely dominate from a defensive standpoint at home compared to the road where they're allowing a ton of points on the road. But they lock it down at home. So under 30.5.
All right, bud. I support it. I didn't bet it. It opened 40.
You don't have the balls to bet it.
It opened 40. You lost 10 points on the value. So, but that's
it opened 40.
Yeah, but it's because of the wind. The wind is you remember the game a couple years ago? Cleveland played New Orleans, and it was a very similar game where you just can't throw the ball in wind gusts. So the wind is the thing to watch there. If that turns around, I still wouldn't play the over. Where in normal situations like the Chicago-Detroit game, we'll talk about that, where there was supposed to be horrendous weather, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as they suspected earlier in the week. You look to play maybe an over there. But this one, I like you said, 2 terrible quarterbacks, 2 defensive-minded teams at this point. if the Jaguars are going to hang on with Lawrence out, they have to play better defense than what showed up on Monday Night Football. So, I lean that way.
Yeah, you're looking at a wind of between 15 to 25 miles an hour, 90% chance of rain there. So it's going to be an absolute slop fest.
Yep.
In Cleveland. All right, Matt, what is your first like of Week 14?
First like for me, Tuck, we're going head-to-head, I see.
I think this is the first time all year we've gone
second.
head-to-head.
You took the one Dallas and the Chargers, and I.
That's right.
That's when my Justin Herbert hate
And I had
started.
a 6 like once where I went against you with the Texans and Jaguars. I took the Texans.
Oh, Week 1.
It was a 6 like though, so it didn't count.
You talking about Week 1?
And it was like Week 3 or something.
Yeah.
When we were at the old studio.
Yeah. I think that was actually Week 1.
I don't think you're fucking right. I think it was. It's
I
not a big deal, but I
right. All right, let's go into this week. I'm taking the Bears plus 3.5.
Wrong.
At home against the Lions.
Wrong.
Your love for the Lions is blinding you, Tucker.
Wrong.
Tucker. The weather, like I just mentioned a moment ago.
Week
the weather
3 for the Texans.
Was it? Week
Who
3?
was right?
Tucker was right. Oh, you know that you're right. The Jags played the.
I know I was right.
You're looking at it. You're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right. Well, you're going to be wrong here. So the weather was supposed to be awful, which I really liked the Bears at that point.
I didn't look into the weather
now
for this game.
Looking to move to Saturday. So Saturday is going to be a disaster. So ignore anything you heard about the weather. But just keep an eye on it because it's still early and that can change. Here's the real reason I like Chicago, and it's Jared Goff outdoors on the road in December. I don't like backing Jared Goff outdoors on the road in good weather. So not shocked by this play for me. I'll say it time in and time again. I think Goff plays much better indoors regardless of season, but once you get him outdoors on the road, he's someone I want to get away from. Now you're going to Chicago, where it is windy regardless of what the weather will be. Not sure I really want to support that. Chicago's run defense is first in the NFL, Tuck, giving up just 79 yards a game. Sneaky there, being first in the league in anything. And they just give up 63.4 yards a game at home. So really, really good run defense that has just gotten better with the addition of Montez Sweat, as well as their pass rush as well since Sweat arrived. So the defense playing much better. Look, on the other side, the Lions have not looked overly impressive to me at all. I mean, even last week, we just talked about this in the recap. They were up 21-0 against New Orleans and barely hung on against a backup quarterback in Jameis Winston, who made some terrible throws in that game. As bad as Derek Carr was early on, he at least got a little bit hot, started to bring him back a little bit.
The defense is a problem.
I think if Carr stayed in that game, they were going to possibly win that game. So I just don't know what's going on with Detroit. It just seems like the last few weeks they were a little bit lost on defense. A big part of this for me, though, is Chicago. Like a lot of those guys playing for their jobs. Matt Eberflus coaching for his job. Justin Fields playing for his job. Like, are you the future? They do have Carolina's pick. So whatever Carolina, if they're given the number 1 pick, do you trade out of that and go back and get some other pieces and keep Fields? Do you take a guy like
He's
Caleb
playing
Williams?
for his job in quotations, because if it's not going to be in Chicago, then it's going to be somewhere else. And what if he doesn't like Chicago? I'm just pointing that out.
Sure.
He very well could just tank.
Yeah, I don't see it. Because he's not going to tank because he wants a job. And other teams are not just like...
He'll get a job elsewhere.
Like us.
If he's that dynamic of a player. But whatever, continue.
Yeah, well... Anyway, they just played 2 weeks ago, and it took everything in Detroit's power to come back and beat that team in Detroit, won it by 5. I think anything more than a field goal here is too many points. I like the Bears plus the 3.5 that you can get widely available across the board. So give me Chicago.
Well, I'm seeing 3 here for the Lions, or for that game.
Is it a little bit of a juice 3, or did it come down?
What is a juice 3? I don't know what that is.
Anything that's over, say, like minus 110. On the
minus 118.
So 118. So that's a juice 3. So that's because the line is really like sitting around 3.25.
Yeah.
So it's kind of teetering between 3.5s and 3s in some spots.
Gotcha.
So you can get 3s though. I'm looking on the board. There's 3s. You might have to pay a little premium at minus 115, which I support. Usually when it goes over 115, I'm like, take the foot off the gas. It's a different number. But all that said, play your number, play what you like, play your confidence level. The Bears you can get here plus 3.5. I see some 110s South Point, for example. Another one at Circa right now, and MGM.
Yeah, I just think that this is not enough points and kind of disrespectful, honestly, to the Lions. I know that their defense is playing like shit. You've mentioned that they've given up a ton of points. I know the Bears are coming off a bye, and they played a close game, like you mentioned, a couple weeks ago. That being said, I think the difference in this matchup for the Lions is, or the advantage that the Lions have is their head coach. Dan Campbell's going to get this team ready to go and not fuck around this week with the Bears. They saw what happened with the Bears a couple weeks ago, how they almost blew it at home. Divisional matchup, longtime rivals here. In last year, the Lions barely won in Chicago, 31-30.
Yep.
I think that Dan Campbell's going to send a message to the locker room and be like, not this fucking year. We're going to go in there. We're going to take care of business in Chicago and get playoff ready. We're done effing around. We're all done.
They better
take care of business in Chicago. You're a much, much better team than the Chicago Bears here. And they have been playing better defense, like you said, but they need to start worrying about playoff positioning here. Their next 4 games, they got the Broncos, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. So obviously the 2 ones with the Vikings are going to be very, very interesting. And the Cowboys is going to be a playoff preview, and the Broncos, I guess, just throw that away. And by the way, the Bears, they've posted sub 20 points 7 times this season. Mm-hmm. The Lions offense continues to click. And I know that, Goff has struggled lately, but he got up to a 21-0 lead in New Orleans last week on the road. And I understand it's indoors. Mm-hmm. I understand that, but still points were scored. Yep. I like seeing a lot more Jameson Williams. I'd like to see his targets go up, and, he's getting involved with more trick plays here and there, and then he's a burner. I think you're going to see a lot more of him. And let's not forget that the last time we saw this Bears offense, they put up 12 points against the Vikings.
Yep.
Offense looked pretty stagnant, honestly. Fields at 217 passing yards, 114 of which were to DJ Moore.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
DJ Moore's like his guy. It's weird.
I think that, as much as Detroit has struggled, I think that Dan Campbell can focus in on eliminating DJ Moore here. His field security blanket. So give me the Lions -3. We go against each other, Matt.
All right, head-to-head, bud.
I'll be right.
We will find out. The good news is we get to find out.
I really didn't want to go back to the well with Detroit again this week. I thought that last week was my last. I was like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, 3 against the Bears? Yeah. Really?
That's also scary.
I think
what did you think the line was supposed to be? I'm curious.
5.5.
Yeah, I made it 4. So I made it 4, but it's a situational spot for me that makes me.
I just feel
Chicago
like
here.
This line is baiting people. No offense, to look at what happened a couple weeks ago and be like, "Oh, the Bears can keep this close, no problem." I don't think so. Lions are going to take care of business. They're not going to let that happen again. It's as simple as that.
All right. We'll find out. Buddy.
All right. Let's go ahead to your second like.
All right. My second like. Oh, God.
Speaking about going back to the well, I have my Lions well, and you have your Chargers.
I hate myself.
Well,
I seriously.
Holy shit.
I seriously hate myself. And I know, and on any other year, seeing like the Broncos getting those points, I'm like, I'm taking the Broncos.
I got the Broncos earlier this week. +3.
+3. Yeah. That's a play that I normally make 100 times out of 100. But I did make the game 4, and I have to play that going through the key number of 3. So, like I just said, I usually look to back Denver in the spot, but with this season, the Chargers at home have been a different team, even when they lose. So they really play well. They lost to Miami by 2, Dallas by 3, Detroit by 3, and the Ravens by 10. But that was Zay Jones catching a pass and deciding to go for a touchdown.
Zay Flowers.
Yeah, excuse me, Zay Flowers. Catching a touchdown pass for the Ravens, deciding to take it to the house instead of going down, which you see in 99 other games. So that said, they just play well at home. They've had a brutal schedule all year long, and at home specifically. I know that this is going to be probably the public side, but I'm okay. Public wins in the NFL sometimes, and I just can't pass up the number. I know Denver's playing better. I, again, faded them last week. We hit with Houston.
They almost beat them, though.
They did, but again, the reason they lost is because Russell Wilson stinks. And here we go again. As much as they've played, I still think this Chargers defense, believe it or not, and I'm not even counting the Patriots game, so I just forget about that. Everybody's defense plays good against the Patriots, but they're still playing good ball. Like they're playing much better. So I expect this to be probably like a 24-17 game, maybe 24-20. But I'm taking the Chargers, and I'm going to back them under the field goal at -2.5.
Yeah, I kept going back and forth in this one. And when I first saw the Broncos at +3, I was just like, yeah, they probably bounce back against this bad Chargers team. I do think they're a bad team.
Yeah, they are.
Led by a buffoon.
He's a moron. This is their season, too, though. But if they win, they're going to show up in that far right column. Now you're going to see in the hunt on all these graphics.
They would be 6 and 7, heading into Thursday Night Football against the Raiders.
Which is another winnable game. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be they are favored in that game right now. So you're talking about a chance to get your season on track, despite your moron coach, your injuries on offense. I think this is the healthiest they've been on defense outside of losing Bosa, but Joey Bosa's never healthy, so I think they're probably just used to that at this point. So I'm going with the Chargers. I'm going to take a shot here, and I hate my life for it.
Well, these two teams face each other again New Year's Eve, by the way.
Yay.
So this is going to be the first that we're seeing them square off. Yeah, it was a very tough call for me. I was very close to actually putting the Broncos as my but you're probably right on this one. It's just the Chargers need to wake up, and that's got to be that's first got to start with Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I mean they also won 6-0 in a game that didn't look like it was a football game, and I think we're getting some value there because of it.
Yeah, very fair. It's another point total here. I'm looking at the Rams in Baltimore here. Point total of 40.5, and I'm going to go under.
Get out.
Give me the under on this one.
Can I, before you talk and give your handicap here, I just want to ask one question.
What?
Do you enjoy sitting in front of your TV every Sunday rooting for nothing to happen? Love that.
If they're my likes?
Yeah. Love it.
Honestly,
Stop
yeah.
It. Stop the action. Stop it. You must have loved the Pats game. Loved it. It was a dream for you.
I was decorating the tree. I was trimming the fucking tree, and
you missed
I was watching the under on the Pats and Chargers, and then I'm flipping over to red zone. I got the Falcons and Jets getting the fucking safety, rain,
love it.
Fumble, turnover. I'm like, let it rain unders, please.
Big soccer guy over here. No, I just had to ask.
We got to go back and calculate all of the unders that I found. I'm pretty sure
and you're hitting probably got to be close to 80%. It's got to be 80% you're hitting. It's got to be.
The unders in the NFL this year are pushing 60%.
Yep, they are.
I'm just looking at what the product is dictating in this league right now, which is pure garbage.
Yep.
And on top of that, it's really taken a step towards defensives this year, really. So I'm just playing the trends here. Anyways, Rams, Ravens, under 40.5 on this one. The Ravens are coming off a bye. I could see them kind of, getting off to a slow start out of the get-go here. Reminder for everybody that no Mark Andrews the rest of the year. Still working in athletic tight end Isaiah Likely. They're still trying to figure out the backfield with Keaton Mitchell. He looks like he's going to be the primary back going forward. But still, there's some learning curve there for the undrafted rookie who has looked really explosive there. Now you're seeing reports that they're going to try, they are trying to get Rashad Bateman up to speed to be the number 2 wideout there. So I think that the offense is going to be tinkering around here. It's a NFC, AFC team, so it's a good time to experiment a little bit if you're the Ravens offense. And Ravens, they're 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games as a favorite of 7 or more. The Ravens are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 seasons, despite all those games being at home. I mentioned the West Coast or the West Coast East Coast dynamic. Again, this just feels like a very sluggish battle. And I know that the Rams are clicking right now, and they put up 36 points against the Browns last week. Exploded in the second half, but what's going to be Puka Nakua's status? I don't know. I think he's probably going to play, but how banged up is he? Cooper Kupp continues to look banged up. He does not look like the Cooper Kupp of old. So I think that the Ravens can kind of focus in on Kyren Williams and kind of hopefully take him away with that defense, or focus in on him and keep him somewhat contained. And I think they can fluster Matt Stafford there. So I just feel like on both sides, I don't see a lot of offense going on here. So give me the under 40.5.
Okay, bud. I'll give you my full opinion on this game.
Yeah, sure.
Later on the show.
Hang on to it. It is best bet related. So
big market tease.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So what is going to be your third like?
All right, we're going to Arrowhead. Big game. Bills at Chiefs, and I'm taking the Chiefs -1.5 right now. Tuck. Early in the
2.5 this morning.
2.5 this morning. It sure was, and I liked it then, and now I like it even more. So, and officially played it at 1.5. So, here we go. 1.5 is an absolute steal to me. The Chiefs are 18-3 off of a loss since Patrick Mahomes has been their quarterback. Mahomes, as a favorite of less than 3, or as an underdog against the spread in his career, he's 15-5-1. Mahomes is also 7-0, coming off of a loss when Kansas City scored less than 3 touchdowns in those games, and they've won by an average of 12 points per game. So that is just the beginning for me. When I looked at this on paper, I'm like, wow, Buffalo's coming off a bye. I think I'm probably going to back Buffalo. But after the Chiefs lost on Sunday, it was very clear that my handicap last week was right about the Chiefs. Tough spot, Sunday Night Football. The Packers are going to be up. The crowd's going to be nuts. Then, the Chiefs, first time going to Lambeau. Next time they got to go, next week, look ahead to the Bills, and it certainly was what it was. This is one of the rivalries that we've come to appreciate over the last few years, Tuck. Regardless of the Bills' record at 6-6, they're still a good team. Like, you can't, I know they've had their struggles, but I don't know. I expect it to be a good game. I expect it to be an all-in performance for the Bills, but I'm just concerned that Buffalo's just kind of hit their mark right now. Like, they're still losing the games they shouldn't lose. And they're catching.
They've just been so banged up. Too.
Yeah, and the bye week finally comes at a good time, but
doesn't matter.
It's a tough spot when you get Mahomes off a loss at home. The place is going to be rocking.
Their schedule is fucking brutal.
The Bills, yeah.
Eagles, Chiefs, Eagles bye, Chiefs, Cowboys.
Crazy. And it doesn't get easier.
Oof.
So, like, there's that. For the Chiefs, the one thing I'll say that I was a little hesitant on is that this is their last, they're winning out. Their hardest game moving forward is the Chargers, whatever that team looks like at the end of the year. We'll see. Yeah. But, they have a really easy schedule. But it's also become kind of a must-win if the Chiefs want the 1 seed. And, this when you have Mahomes, I think he's going to want the 1 seed. He's never played a friggin' playoff game on the road because he's always the 1 seed. So you're going to get max effort from the Chiefs. They're going to get max effort because they want the 1 seed because it's the Bills, because the rest of their schedule is kind of soft. So this is big. If you're giving me Patrick Mahomes under 3 points at home in this situation, I'm not overthinking it. Yeah. I'm taking the Chiefs -1.5, very close to a best bet for me.
Yeah, I was really falling in love with that -1.5. Yeah. Two here. It's too much love coming to the Bills, and it's probably just because of, this is their season. They're going to be under 500 if they lose.
Yep.
It's been that kind of year for them. Not to mention, not to put a damper on things, but this whole Von Miller situation.
Yeah. Right today, they might play him on top of it.
It seems like he's going to play.
He sucks anyways. No, not for nothing, but he's a name, but he's done literal nothing all year.
Yeah, that's a weird situation that is, I wonder if the broadcast even mentions it, but it's going to be on everybody's mind going into that if he's playing. It's just everybody's going to be like, it's just a weird situation. Yeah. With the
jinx.
If everybody isn't aware, it was a domestic abuse situation. So let's see how that plays out, but obviously it's a cast a negative shadow on this matchup.
Sure
if he does play, especially. What do you think of this point total, by the way? 48.5.
In a KC Buffalo game, I throw everything out. I know KC's offense has not looked right, but
this is screaming everybody to take the over.
Yeah, I think so too. I do lean towards the under in this game, but I think it's, especially with the history, right? Everything's going to scream over. You're going to be in the 50s, 52s, 53s. This year it's 5 points down. And they're like, come on, come take it.
But you mentioned like how the Chiefs' offense just been struggling.
Yeah.
But the one thing that has been working for them over the past couple of weeks is the run game.
Run the ball.
Isaiah Pacheco.
There it is.
What can you do against this Bills defense?
Yep.
Pound the run. I love Isaiah Pacheco for daily fantasy, by the way.
I obviously a little early for props.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm going to hit everything over on Pacheco.
I'm looking at a Patrick Mahomes rushing total.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, because I think he gets things moving with his legs in this game. This is a type of game that you need Mahomes to use his feet too, because it's going to be, they're going to want to move the ball. They're going to need to move the ball. How much does he trust his receivers?
Yeah.
The whole team just plays better at home, though.
And by the way, the Chiefs still don't want to play Rashee Rice. Like
finally, though, stepping
100%.
up. I feel like they're finally buying in with him.
Yeah, but I still see him go to the sidelines in key situations. I'm like, get him on the field.
He's going to be on the field moving forward. I think he had a great game Sunday night, by the way.
You got to get something going for the playoffs.
He's their best receiver, and it's not even close.
Oh, it's not even close. But they're not throwing him out there as much as they should. And I guess it's because of the whole rookie thing, but...
not a rookie anymore. It's week
how is
14.
this any different than Bijan Robinson? I know that Bijan Robinson is immensely talented and he's a different position. I get that, but like it's time to take the training wheels off these rookies. Yeah. Let them flourish.
Yeah, if he makes mistakes, so be it. How many times are we going to watch Sky Moore run the wrong route?
Yeah,
I mean, thank you, Sky Moore. You won the game for me, but
But we saw with Bijan Robinson, he's the clear-cut best weapon on that Falcons offense. Mm-hmm. And aside from Travis Kelce, who's a tight end, but in terms of the wideouts, he's the clear-cut number one wide receiver for the Chiefs.
Yep.
Take the training wheels off. Agreed. Let's go.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I do really side with this Chiefs play for you. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. I think this is where it kind of finished. Actually, I don't know. I could see this going back up Sunday to -2.5 for the Chiefs. I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know how much lower it's going to get. I'll say
it's not going to go lower.
We're getting the best of the number here, which I also like.
This is the best it's going to be. You're not going to see the Bills all of a sudden become a favorite. No way. No fucking chance.
If you do, it will be the largest bet of my entire life. I can promise you that.
Yeah, so would not shock me if this moved again to -2.5 here. My fourth and final I'm looking at Monday Night Football. We have a doubleheader here on Monday Night Football. Looking at the Giants and Packers. Now, you might be thinking, hey, he's going to be picking a red-hot Packers team, and that they are, and Jordan Love looks like he's clicking and everything. Give me the Giants. Give me the Giants. I think it's too many points, +6.5. I know that the Packers, they are on a complete roll, and they are 16-0 straight up in their last 16 games in December. And a lot of that's, Aaron Rodgers probably. But I just think it's too many points. This is primetime Monday Night Football. The Giants are coming off a bye. They're going to be home. Brian Daboll's might be hearing whispers about his job security. I think they do keep him, but I think he's going to get them revved up, ready to go. I think it's going to be a nice Saquon Barkley game. I like what I'm seeing out of Jalen Hyatt as a wide out there. And this team seems to be rallying around Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
Who, he was a punching bag in terms of puns and everything a few weeks ago, being like, who the fuck is Danny DeVito and Tommy DeVito?
Yeah.
But they're rallying around him.
They are.
They like him. You're hearing reports that they actually like this kid.
2 wins in a row.
Tyrod Taylor was cleared. He is healthy. He's ready to go. They're going with DeVito. I think that's very interesting. I mean, look at what just the Bengals did on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, true. Jake
outright won against the Jaguars in overtime, mind you, but they were competitive the entire game. I think this is going to be very close. It would stun me if the Giants won, but I think they can keep it within 6.5.
Might also get Waller back.
Hopefully that's the case.
Not 100%. They haven't activated him, but apparently he's, hanging around the venue looking pretty good.
But
so
this is, this one of their top spotlight games of the season.
Yeah.
2 old teams here. Packers, Giants, old
rival.
Yeah. It's just like,
playoff.
Yeah. It's just old school football, I think we're going to see. And by the way, the Packers, Christian Watson, he's going to be out for several weeks, it seems like, with another hamstring injury here, probably the same one that's been bothering him. I just think it's too many points. It's as simple as that. Giants +6.5 for me.
Yeah, I lean that way. No other commentary. I think
That's
you kind of
fine.
nailed it. I really don't have anything else on that game. I would lean that way, though.
All right, what is your fourth and final like?
All right, Tuck, I hope it loses. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles plus 3.5. I'll keep this one as simple as it gets. This is a division game. The Eagles have been in talk about a freaking gauntlet of a schedule. I mean, they're just they're exhausted. And you saw that last week at the end of that game when the Niners just kept pounding it down their throat. And I wanted to come on this show, and I thought Dallas would be one of my favorite plays of the week.
I was right there with you. I was ready to put Dallas. Here,
But let's pump the brakes at 3.5 here. Dallas hasn't beat a good team all year. They beat Seattle last week, which was their very clearly best win. That was a one team with a winning record at the time they played. They're now 6-6 after that loss. But they almost lost that game. It took everything in their willpower. You can score on Dallas. So, again, division game. This is going to be close. It's Sunday Night Football. These two teams hate each other. Would I be surprised if Dallas wins? Nope. Would I be surprised if Philly wins? Nope. So, in a game where I can get 3.5 with the Eagles, minus 110, I am taking that number all the way to the window. I can't believe it actually got this high. In fact, the only thing I can think of that would be why so much Dallas money's coming in earlier in the week is because there could be a little bit of, is Jalen Hurts really banged up? We saw him leave the game for a little bit against the Niners. He did come back, but he's been banged up. We've talked about this. But to this point, I watched Geno Smith and DK Metcalf absolutely carve up the Cowboys. I'm sorry, but Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith,
Dallas Goedert might be
returning. So, they just signed Shaq Leonard. What does he play as a role on the defense?
Who chose Philly over
Dallas? So that'll be interesting. I'm rooting for Dallas as a 49ers fan that pumps them the 1 seed. But you know what? I still think Philly here, spot, Sunday Night Football, very close game. Don't care who wins. Just keep it to a field goal. I'm taking the Eagles plus 3.5. They have been. This is one thing, Tuck, that I just wanted to put in close games. We don't see Dallas in many of them. It was against Seattle we did, but they blow out the nobodies, which they've gotten a lot of, and they've lost to the other teams, right? So then you have Philadelphia, who's won week after week against good teams in close games, against bad teams in close games. They know how to win a close game. Do the Cowboys against a good team. We'll find out.
You could honestly argue, looking at that Seahawks game, that the Seahawks are teetering on being nobodies.
Yeah.
In terms of their injuries as of late.
Yeah. Without Kenneth Walker, who was their best offensive player.
Yeah, now Charbonnet's banged up.
Yep.
So
Geno Smith.
Went just carved
absolutely bananas.
Right. And by the way, just why I was very close to picking Dallas, Philly's defense looks like shit.
Well, right, and that's the thing. And we talk about this. They give up too many points. They're very lucky with their comparatively to the Vikings of last year. So, this in no way is hey, slam dunk play, Eagles plus 3.5. But it is a game that's eye-opening. I made the game Dallas minus 2. I'm getting through the key number of 3 and over it. I got to play Philly here. I have to do it.
Yeah, and another thing that you want to keep in mind is that this is a pivotal matchup in terms of the MVP race, too. You know, Hurts is the leader in the clubhouse. But if Dak shows up Sunday Night Football in, home and beats Jalen Hurts, you're going to see those odds shift dramatically.
Isn't my guy Brock Purdy the leader in the clubhouse?
No.
He was yesterday.
No.
Did Hurts get bet up?
He's not going to win because everybody's just going to
hate him.
Chalk him up to having all those weapons around him.
I'll tell you what.
Right or wrong, that's what it's going to be.
If he does win, I have a nice little ticket on him. So I'd be okay with it.
Can we do an aside real quick on the MVP chatter?
Yeah, let's do it.
If there was a year to take a positional player in the MVP race, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago with Joe Murray.
Yep.
This would probably be the year to dabble on it, don't you think?
I do think so. I mean, Tyreek Hill approaching 2,000 yards.
Well, that's what I'm looking at.
I mean, what's going to hurt Purdy, in my opinion, is Christian McCaffrey voters. I mean, the guy has 18 touchdowns.
Let's stop bringing up Purdy. He's not going to win.
He's not going to win. He is the favorite right now.
No, he's not.
He is. Look.
No, he's not.
Here.
No, he's not.
I'm going to screenshot.
Will you stop it? It's Jalen Hurts is the favorite.
It's not.
I just saw it.
Did it change?
It never changed. It's always been Jalen Hurts.
Liar. See, you're wrong on this one because I looked yesterday.
Why is this?
I was sending screenshots to everybody I knew besides you.
Hurts is the favorite. That's what you're telling me.
No, I'm telling you that Purdy's the favorite. That's why I take screenshots.
Wow, Purdy plus 300?
I told you guys. Nobody listen to me. I have a plus 1,600.
Oh, he's not going to win.
I might not, but I got plus 1,600.
No, this is down to Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Tua, maybe Lamar. You can make a case for.
Well, if that's the case, you can. I don't think
Mahomes is going to win.
Dak's beat nobody. Tua's played nobody. Like these teams can't beat good teams. You can't give them the MVP.
Did you just take the screen cap? Like just now, or
I took it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing MVP odds on DraftKings right now.
I can't. My phone's not connecting. So
okay. Well, either way. But my ultimate point is this the year you sprinkle money on Tyreek Hill to win MVP?
I don't think it's going to happen. But if there's ever a year for it, then
it's this year.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a sprinkle now at this point. He is absolutely insane.
Yeah, he's a video game kid.
Like defenses know that they're going to throw deep, and he beats them over the top.
That doesn't matter
every time.
Yep.
You cannot game plan for him.
Yeah, it's like
unless you're like Belichick, who can somewhat contain him.
Yeah, put like 17 guys on him and call it a day.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting that Brock Purdy is now the favorite for MVP. Wow, that is weird.
Big cock Brock. Let's go.
Is he well endowed?
Oh, no question about it.
I feel like
I say this all the time, but he looks like he's going to. He gets off the bus. You see all these monsters, and then comes Brock Purdy looking like he's a 5th grade social studies teacher, and he's ready. And he just carves you up with his brain. It's unbelievable.
Textbook under his armpit.
I will say this about Purdy: people say he's a guy of the system, but my God, his brain, the way he processes the game, and look, he hits the guys, he gets them open. He's been awesome. So I can't knock. At first, I was like, really? We're going with Brock Purdy? But my God, has he been just fantastic.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah, he's currently not listed on DraftKings, which is fascinating to me. But maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. There's no MVP right now. So whatever.
Maybe they took it down for some reason. Too many votes on Brock. They get exposed.
All right. Well, let's touch on the rest of the slate here for Week 14. Yep. Thursday Night Football. You can take a wild fucking guess what I bet.
Yay.
I bet this on Sunday night, where it opened at 33. I pounded the under, and it is now at 30.5 points with the garbage Patriots taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Mitchell Trubisky at the helm. It's just going to be another ugly mess, and quite possibly one of the lowest rated Thursday Night Football games of all time.
This could be the game that kills Al Michaels. This might do it to him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I might tune in just for.
He's got to just go bananas.
Just for the Al Michaels,
the commentary. Yeah,
just the negative commentary, and just be like, oh, God, I got to watch this crap.
He was hilarious last week. Up, another flag. Yeah, what do you know? Another one. Oh, yeah. Good. Another flag.
Well, he's got to be pissed. He's just like, look at this constant Thursday night garbage. Honestly, this might be the lowest rated Thursday Night Football game of all time. Bailey Zappi versus Mitchell Trubisky.
When Pittsburgh's a 6-point favorite after being a 5.5-point favorite last week against Arizona and losing by 3 touchdowns.
They're going to win 10-3.
It's just disgusting.
This is a 10-3 game.
Like, this isn't even like a fun game that you can throw like a parlay on, and like I couldn't tell you 4 things that are going to happen in this game.
Oh, let me tell you what I did take for this. Besides under 33, which is now 30, but
I would go. Can I tell you one that I would think about?
Can I say it first?
Oh yeah, you go in the
race to 20 points. Neither plus 105. I took that. I actually hit that. Once. I also hit no touchdown score plus 1,400.
Worth a play.
And that is all I took besides the under. What were you going to say?
No touchdown.
Oh, that okay. Yeah. So
I was going to say no touchdown might be worth the spot here.
Yeah, I was like, that's way too high.
It's going to be like 6-3, 9-6. I actually don't know. Like
the race to 21, I'm more confident in, honestly.
Yeah, neither one of them. I mean, the Pats are definitely not scoring 20.
No shot.
I don't think Pittsburgh's getting there unless there's pick sixes.
Unless there's pick sixes all over the
place. The only way it gets there.
Right. Honestly, I might hit this under again at 30. I might hit it again. Yeah, I got it at 33. I might hit it again. Honestly, it's going to be that bad.
30.
Unless the defense is like you mentioned, just turn the ball over constantly and score every time. Ugh.
This is going to be
awful. Those Thursday night bets, but Thursday night bets.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Texans and Jets. Texans, devastating loss of Tank Dell, done for the year. I had to drop him from 2 fantasy teams, like anybody cares. But he was a massive, massive impact for C.J. Stroud there. And the Texans offense is going to be interesting to see this week.
Yep.
See how they bounce back from that devastating injury. I don't know if they're going to get Dalton Schultz back for this one. But nonetheless, Texans are favored by 4 here. I've seen this as high as 5.5, and now a lot of money's coming in on the Jets, apparently. Zach Wilson was named the starter. I don't know if you saw that on the way in.
I did.
Point total on this one is 33.
So that's why the line went down, though, is the Wilson news. I think people thought we were getting Trevor Siemian, which it's mind-boggling to see a line move 1.5 for Zach Wilson being announced. But I'll tell you this, Tuck. The Jets were going to make my card today, and then they named Zach Wilson.
You had him at 5.5?
Starter. I got him at 6. And, I liked that number. I was leaning still that way, but then at 4, it's a no play for me. I think the Jets outright win this game. This is
really
a weird
See,
spot.
4 makes me think Texans now.
Yeah, maybe. Look, after Dell went out, and I know it's on the fly, they were struggling on offense, and I know he's a big part of it, and you get a week to prepare. It's different. The Jets, you're going back to Zach Wilson. I don't know that motivates them per se, but this is a team that beat the Eagles with Zach Wilson at quarterback at home. They play better at home. Now, the only reason they lost last week and didn't cover that game, both situations, is they turned the ball over 3 times in their own friggin' 50-yard line. So, at the end of the day, the defense is still the best unit on the field. I'm interested to see with Houston. We get to this point with Houston, and I'm rooting for them, and I like them. I actually hope they win this game because I no longer a play. Again, +6 for me. That's not getting back there. But Stroud, rooting for the kid. Hope they win the game. Less than 6. I don't think they're going to, though. I think the Jets outright win.
All right, we have the We have the Colts taking on the Bengals. Bengals, like we mentioned earlier, coming off a miraculous Monday Night Football win on the backs of Jake Browning there. Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase looked like Jamar Chase with Browning, which is very encouraging. We have +1. Bengals are still home dogs taking on the Colts. Point total on this one is anywhere between 42.5, 43 I'm seeing. I was very close to picking the Colts for this one, but I stayed away from it ultimately because maybe that magic carries on. But, obviously coming off of Monday Night Football and overtime, you wonder how, rested up this team's going to be. Mm-hmm. Colts are now thinking about playoffs and playoff positioning. Mm-hmm. So if I had to lean aside, it would be the Colts.
Yeah, I was close to making the Bengals alike, but I need to see it another week from Browning. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
I want to fade this Colts team. I still think they're playing over their heads. I think they're well coached. I like watching Minshew, but
Zach Moss should have a day against this Bengals front.
Should.
Though.
I mean, the Bengals D is really playing poorly, and the Bengals are interesting. When T. Higgins is on the field, even if he's not producing, they're a different offense, and I think it just helps Chase get open and take some space away, right? So he didn't have a massive game in the stats last week, but I thought Chase played so much better because of it, right? And Joe Mixon, they got back to the run. It was probably one of his better games of the year, too. So, I want to see it again, but I think at home this team could win this game.
Buccaneers going on the road to Atlanta in a pivotal NFC South matchup. Falcons favored by 2.5. Point total in this one is 39.5. I was very close to taking the Falcons here, but it just screams of a please stay away. It's a divisional game. Things could get weird. Atlanta sucks in the first, getting off to slow starts here, and Buccaneers get off to fast starts from what I've seen. So ultimate stay away, but you figure that Falcons could really pull away in the NFC South here with this win.
Yep, I was leaning towards the Falcons as well. Didn't get there. I kind of like the over, though. I think both of these teams are going to score a little bit in this game. Tampa's defense is wretched right now. They are just really banged up. And if there's one place that I can think Desmond Ridder can throw the ball, it is at home. So I think he can get some success in there while they can get the run game going.
I was thinking that too, but then I just circle back to, he's just Desmond Ridder.
Well, fine. Throw a pick 6. Helps you over. So, I still think there's going to be points in this game. I didn't bet it, but I lean that way.
All right, Seahawks, 49ers here. Currently, it is 49ers favored by 10.5. Point total in this one is 47. I did take over 46 on Sunday night, and I did take the Niners at minus 11.5. I did cash that out, though.
Oh.
Yeah, when I saw this coming down and I thought about it a little more, I cashed it out.
It got to 12, and then it came screeching down to 10.5, 10,
Yeah,
and now you're seeing 10.5 across the board. So there must be some pro out there that's giving that number out or really like Seattle for some reason in this game.
I think it's just like, listen, the Niners are the best team in football.
Yeah, I
we all
almost took
know
Seattle,
that.
by the way. I lean Seattle at this number. So.
Yeah, it's just like, this is another team where it's just like if you lose, you go below 500 here, and you're really teetering in terms of making the playoffs. And I do think that Seattle is a playoff team. I don't know if they win this game, but they got to show some sort of, I guess, competitiveness against this Niners team, as opposed to what we saw on Thanksgiving against this Niners team. We all know how well the Niners play at home, but I just didn't feel great about 11.5, so I cashed it out.
We're getting to the point.
I lost $5 out.
You're getting to the point with the 49ers that if you're playing, you're laying. Like these are going to be the numbers you see.
Double digits every week.
Because they're just beating the hell out of teams. Yeah. So I don't know. I lean Seattle with this many points. So I
it's a lot.
think the Niners win.
It's a lot of points. I did take the over though, like I said, at 46 there. Mm-hmm. We have the Vikings and the Raiders. Raiders coming off a bye. Vikings coming off a bye. They are home dogs at 3 points. Point total on this one is 40. Any thoughts on this one? Yep. It looks like we are getting Justin Jefferson back.
Yep.
We don't officially know the starting quarterback for the Vikings. There were kind of mumblings that they might be going with Nick Mullins there, but kind of want to see what Josh Dobbs does with Justin Jefferson.
I was very close to liking Vegas in this spot. I don't care that Justin Jefferson's back. I like playing Vegas as dogs.
Right? It seems like they always show up for that.
They show up for that at home when they're at home. That said, stay away from me. Minnesota coming off a bye. Let's see what they're going to come out looking like. Do they get Josh Dobbs back on track? Does he play? Like you already mentioned, does Nick Mullins come out? If Nick Mullins is announced the starter, I will be betting Vegas. I don't even care. I'll just hop to the money line.
This was 2.5 when I saw it yesterday, I think.
The one thing that kept me off, I know I just said that I liked Vegas in the game. The thing that's keeping me off is they blitz a lot, and they've done it successfully.
I don't know.
Aiden O'Connell coming in there,
I don't know what Aiden O'Connell's success is versus the blitz. I think the Vikings are number one, by the way.
Yeah,
in
they
terms
are
of
number
the blitz.
one.
Yeah.
They are, it's okay. It's not great. So I stayed away because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of a weird interconference game there. All right, well, I think that's it in terms of the rest.
Yep.
I didn't miss anything, right?
Quick check.
No, we got it. I think we got everything.
All right, well, let's go ahead to our best bet. We're going to save you for last because you're a red-hot streak here.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it nice and easy for me because my record sucks, although I did win last week, obviously. But give me the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football minus 13. Don't fool yourself. This Titans team is not very good. Not very good at all. And it's going to be a very tough task for Will Levis to play on Monday Night Football in Miami, what's going to be, I think, an electric atmosphere. This is going to be a stage where the Dolphins can really shine in terms of their offensive weapons. I think this screams that they're going to blow out the Titans and put up a massive amount of points. Wouldn't shock me if they won by 3 touchdowns, honestly. The Dolphins, they are 16-6-2 against the spread in their last 26 games as a home favorite, and they're also 6-1 against the spread as a favorite of more than 7 points since last season. And the Dolphins, they rank second in points per game at home with 38.8. And obviously we have the asterisk with the 70-point output against the Broncos. But, hey, points are points, right?
Still scored 70.
And then the thing that really pounded this home for me is that the Titans are 31st in points per game on the road, merely averaging 12.3 points on the road. So I think this is a nice and easy, safe play, best bet. Miami minus 13.
Yeah, I'll be on this one with you. I think I do not want anything to do with Tennessee's pass defense against that offense unless someone gets hurt in practice. I can't imagine anything that they're going to do to stop that team.
Not to mention their running backs too. I mean, we saw
Henry got hurt too for Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know what Henry's status. I guess Vrabel shot down the fact that he was in concussion protocol. So
he just went with Tajay Spears and with the
I think he left.
Thanks, Mike.
I think he left the game due to concussion concerns. But
okay.
I think on Monday, it was, that he said that he is actually not in concussion protocol. But
Got it.
You never know. You never know with concussions. But it seems like he is going to play. Still, double check that.
Yep.
But then in terms of the Miami running backs, too, you have Raheem Mostert's put on a show, Davon Achane, 2 touchdowns last week in the second half against the Commanders.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of offense in this game. It's going to be coming from Miami.
It's what they do. They beat up on the shitbag teams.
This wouldn't shock me if this moved to now I've seen it actually come down. This was 13.5, and I've seen it come down to 13.
Okay.
So I don't really understand that. I think that might be might be people just kind of favoring like Mike Vrabel and be like, oh, Vrabel can figure out the Dolphins. He'll keep this closer, which might be true, but I just think this is a lost cause, lost season for the Titans.
Yeah, I agree with you. This opened 11.5. I wish I hit that number.
Yeah, seriously.
But anything under 2 TDs should be fine.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for again. Matthew, your best bet for Week 14.
All right, Tuck, you liked the under in this game. So going back to it, it is the Rams and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, and I am taking the Baltimore Ravens -7 as my best bet. I know you had mentioned earlier in your handicap that Lamar and the Ravens are just 1-8 in their last 9 when the Ravens are 7-point favorites or more, but I don't care. Lamar is 18-1 against the NFC in his career, and they're coming off a bye.
Is that what he is? Wow.
18-1 against the NFC outright. Baltimore coming off of a bye, so they're extra rested. To your point about Isaiah Likely, I think they get him very well incorporated over the bye. To your point about Keaton Mitchell, I think he becomes the factor, the running back factor that we're looking for here. So I like that. So the extra rest, we're incorporating the guys. You had the time to do it. Get Rashard Bateman involved more in the offense. Get Beckham back and give him an extra week at this point of his career.
Going against his old team, by the way.
Against his old team, yep, absolutely. So look for him. A nice little anytime TD play, potentially. You know, hey, there's a 70% chance of rain in this game with winds up to 20 miles an hour. So, again, it's Wednesday, still a little early, but that has not changed since I've looked at that forecast, tracking that Monday, Tuesday, and this morning. LA is obviously coming across country to play at a 1 p.m. start against a team that's extra rested, so don't love that for them. I don't love Stafford trying to throw against the second-best pass defense in the NFL in wind and rain. No thank you. Puka Nacua, what's his deal? At the very least, he was hurt last week, so he's not going to be 100% most likely this week. Cooper Kupp, you said that, also has continued to struggle since coming back. He doesn't look right. So, yes, the Rams, they took advantage of a Cleveland defense who does not play as well, as we've been telling you, on the road. And that game, though, was closer than it looked.
With Cleveland?
The Rams in Cleveland.
Yeah.
They opened it up late with 2 very late turnovers inside their own, 20-yard line.
It was getting dicey there.
Cleveland was playing right with them. So, Ravens, first in the league in rushing at 158 yards per game. The Rams are 16th in the league, stopping it, giving up 111 yards per game there. Big advantage to the Ravens in the run game, but also with rain and wind, that could be a problem for the Rams. The Rams are going to want to establish the run, but the Ravens are also a top 10 defense, so along with being the second best pass defense, they're just an overall very good defense. The Rams, against the upper echelon teams in the NFL, lost to the 49ers at home by 7. But don't forget, Sean McVay kicked a last-second field goal to come to a push there. So it was really a 10-point game, whatever he was trying to do there. I know he's trying to get the ball back, but a little too late there, Sean. Lost to Philadelphia at home by 9. Lost at Dallas 43-20. That was the one road game against a very good team. So the Rams' little 3-game win streak getting a little hot. Yep, nice. So I want to call that out. But those were against Seattle, who had a look-ahead game on a short week against the Niners coming up, and they won by a point. Arizona and Cleveland with Joe Flacco starting in his first game. And again, that game was much closer. So because of that, I think we're getting value. The Ravens at home this season against good teams. You saw them bury Detroit 38-6. They beat Houston 25-9. And for what you want to call Seattle, I want to call them a good team, but an average team. They beat them 37-3. And I remember that game because we had a double like on the Seahawks +6. Learned my lesson there.
Yeah.
Even beating Cincy recently 34-20. Give me the Ravens -7, best bet here.
Do you have any thoughts as to this was 7.5 and now it's coming down to 7?
Yeah, I think there's going to be money on the Rams because look, when you have Matt Stafford, there's the backdoor ability. You're going to see you're looking at a team that's been hot. They've won 3 in a row. So the market's looking at this and they're saying, okay, anything over a touchdown, give me the Rams. I totally disagree with it. I make Baltimore an 8-point favorite, but I also love the spot for the Ravens. Coming off of a bye, I think the Rams are getting a little more juice than they probably deserve. Do I think they're a good team? Meh. I think they're average. I don't think they're a playoff team. They are playing well enough to potentially be in because the NFC, the bottom of it, is not the prettiest scene that you'll see. So could they make the playoffs? Sure. But I think the Ravens are going to roll them out on Sunday in the rain.
Not to mention, I wonder if the Rams team overall feels like, hey, we have the luxury of maybe dropping one here this week because if you look at the schedule coming up,
it's not tough. Yeah,
Commanders home next week, Saints home week after that, on the road in New York to play the Giants, and then they wrap up the season against the Niners, which might be the key to making the playoffs if they were to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I could see them having 9 wins at that point. Easily. With losing this game, I also think with the weather factor, you're going to see money come down.
So you like the under 40?
I do. I do with the weather. I do with the weather. I lean that way. It's not a strong like because I've just seen this movie too many times with Baltimore against the NFC teams. You don't see Lamar again. It's tough to game plan for a guy like that. So we'll see. I think the rain does slow him down a little bit, which might help the Rams slightly. But I don't know how much you want to get into a physical game in the wind and rain. They're a team from LA. They're not built for this. Give me the Ravens.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. Let's just run through it again real quick. Our likes for the week. We're going against each other. Lions -3 for me. Bears +3.5 for Matt. You can get that at different books. Jacksonville, Cleveland under 30.5. Don't be shy. Take the under. For me, LA Chargers -2.5 for Matt. Rams, Ravens, under 40.5, as we just talked about. For me, KC -1.5 for Matt. Giants +6.5 on Monday Night Football was my final like. And Matt's final like was Philly +3.5 on Sunday Night Football there. Best bet for me, Miami -13. Baltimore -7 to get Matt to 12-2, hopefully, for best bets.
Let's do it.
Here. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Bettor in Laws. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Bettor in Laws. Please subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
And like YouTube. It helps the algorithm.
Yes.
It helps us.
Like us on YouTube on a week-to-week basis. Leave us a review and likes on Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast. It just helps us grow even more. Thank you to our producer, Hurley, this week. And Matt Prisco, you can follow. What's your Twitter handle? At San Fran Prisco? Is that what it is?
At mprisco3.
At mprisco3 on Twitter. He gives out plays there. Usually retweets it on Bettor in Laws on Twitter. And Matt also gives out college basketball plays.
Yep, starting Saturday
Here. And that's going to do. I'm at Tuck Silva on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody. If you do all that stuff that I said. And I'm going to go sit in 2 hours of traffic now. All right. See you, everybody.
See ya. Bye-bye.